Hi, everyone. I am so excited to share this week's module with you. It is one of my absolute favorites because I really see how it applies to the real life uh, trials and tribulations, we could say, that we go through, but doing them in a simplified way and understanding the formula is going to take the guesswork, the resistance, and the anxiety out of change. So I'm really excited to get started. So I've created a PowerPoint so that we can go over some fine points together. You'll have some references to go back to if you need to rewatch the video again and jot things down. And let's get started. So we're going to be moving through breaking through the barriers of change. And our, yeah, okay. So things that we're looking for in this particular module are things to take away from pearls, I call them, of knowledge or wisdom, you could say. So the first one is, why is change so hard? We want to understand that concept. What are the signals that you are ready for a change? How is change like playing on the monkey bars? What are the elements required to make a new change? How do you stop an old habit? And what is the gift of doubt? And what is the gift of resistance? So those are the things we're going to cover. Okay, so we first have to talk about the power of change, because I get a lot of mixed messages from people about change. Some people think it's great. Some people are afraid of it and avoid it like the plague. Some people are kind of in the middle on the fence. And where I like to share my understanding of change is this. Change is your freedom. Change is power. It allows you to elevate out of some place in your life that you're kind of done being in. And it allows you to create something new. And when we create something new, we're no longer who we were. We're moving into something different. Different isn't better or worse. We could choose to stay the same, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with that unless we didn't like the feelings that we have going on in our life if we stayed the same. And we're going to learn how change doesn't have to be scary as long as you know the formula. So I really just want to reiterate again, change is power and change is freedom. Okay, so then why is change so hard? Well, we believe that change is unknown to us, like we're embarking on something that we've never done. It's unfamiliar to us. But really, it's our chance to be different. So here are just some quick little things that I want to touch on for why change is hard. Well, change requires us stepping into the unknown and doing something we may never have done before. But we've done that many times in our life, but we don't really think about it from a micro level. So for instance, when you were a kiddo and you were very, very young, you learned how to walk. You didn't know how to do it. But what's interesting when you're that young is you didn't know you couldn't do it. You did it over and over again until you became the master of it. And now you are the master of it, and you're the master of it from a very particular part of your brain. We call it the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is literally like your computer. It has a ton of applications on it, software programs that get activated when you feel a certain way or prompted by something you see or smell or come into awareness of. And that program turns on, and your body knows how to do it better than you could ever consciously think about it. And when I say the difference between the two, what I'm really talking about is like walking. Once you became the master of it, you don't walk around going, okay, left foot, I want you to step forward. Now, right foot, I want you to step forward, and I'm going to adjust my gait. You don't think about any of that consciously. So that's from the conscious mind. You're in the subconscious habit program. You know the habit of walking, your body does, better than you could ever think it or tell your body to do it consciously. So there's a lot of habits you have like that, but some of them serve you and some of them don't. And this process that we're embarking on is kind of trying to reassess which ones do and which ones don't. But let's keep going why change can be hard. To some, change is associated with the possibility that you might fail. or make a mistake, or not follow through and give up, or the fear of someone judging your choice or how you're doing it, or even just feeling certain emotions and thinking certain thoughts can deter people from making a change. But the truth is, everything you go through in life is never a mistake. It's just a learning experience of what you like, what you don't like, what works, and what doesn't work. And think of it like you're a chemist or a scientist, and you're literally creating experiments where you're tweaking steps that work or don't work, and fine-tuning along the way until you have it dialed in. So someone told me if I wanted results, I had to do it a certain way. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. But I don't like the way that they did it, so I resisted. So I can't change. These are things I've heard. Just because an idea sounds very interesting to you, or it worked for someone else, doesn't mean that it has to be exactly the same way to work for you. Nor does it mean that if you did it slightly different, that you wouldn't get great results if you dialed it into your life and your goals. Next, fear of losing the things that we love or are important to us. So sometimes we don't change because we're afraid of leaving someone behind, or letting go of something we really think that we can't live without. But the truth is, if we're miserable in the moment and we're contemplating change, then what are we really afraid of losing? Because it doesn't seem like it's helping us feel the feelings we want to feel. Feeling immobilized, stuck, not knowing how to get motivated and move into change. Sometimes people don't enact a change or a new habit because they just don't know where to get started. But we're going to clear out all the confusion of that when we get to the formula. And so what I want you to know is it's just you didn't know the formula. And what's going to be so cool when you see the formula, you're going to go, oh, I kind of knew that. I kind of felt that when I was creating certain things of habits and behaviors, but I never understood the formula that simply. So that's what we're going to work on. Okay. So in life, we're either spiraling upwards, feeling emotions of contentment, hopefulness, enthusiasm, passion, love, joy, freedom, empowerment, eagerness, happiness, optimism, belief, or positivity, or we're spiraling down the other way and we're feeling frustrated, impatient, worry, rage, jealousy, insecurity, powerlessness, pessimism, irritation, doubt, anger, hatred, or guilt. And the ones that spiral down, they kind of zap our energy. They decrease our focus, our concentration suffers, and we kind of get this feeling of change is impossible. But when we're spiraling up, we're feeling increased energy and focus, our concentration is more calm, and change feels very possible. Well, what's the difference? Where's the tipping point? I've really figured out that it's this place of boredom. So let's say you've been doing really well with your habit all this time, you loved it, it was working for you, and then all of a sudden, it just doesn't feel the same. It's starting to feel frustrating. There's something irritating about it, or maybe you're getting a little angry with it. Or maybe right before that, you just feel really bored with it. And in fact, you don't even want to do it anymore. Well, that's a really good indication of something, boredom. So we're going to talk about that next. Boredom actually is a signal that it's time to change something. And some modern day ways we normally react to boredom is we fill space. We fill it with entertainment, watching TV or playing on our phone or scrolling on social media or listening to podcasts or YouTube videos, playing games on our phone or on a machine. And we will do anything to stop being bored. We will fill time. But the problem with that is we never give ourselves any time to kind of hit, you could say, our rock bottom of boredom. And so how can we instead use boredom as a facilitator? Okay, a facilitator to help us see that we're ready for change. And the truth is, it's where we need to sit still and pause and not try to fill the space with something to do at first. We need to be uncomfortable. We need to feel what it feels like to be bored. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. Our body's going to want to move and get up and do things. But if we can just brave it, if we can just sit there for a few minutes and like really lean into this uncomfortable feeling of boredom, which we're not used to doing, by the way, we can feel our feelings about what is going on. Maybe we're sad about something. And finally, that sadness, if we just feel it, will lead us to what we're ready to let go of. And when we figure out what we want to let go of, we'll start to get some like ideas of what we want to move into. And from that, then we can start creating what we need to do to have some new habits that bring us some new renewed joy and happiness and enthusiasm. And contemplation truly is the way that we do that, but we can't get to a place of contemplation if we're always filling space with mind-numbing entertainment and tasks that just fill up our time. We never take the time to realize what it is we really want. All right, so I came up with an acronym for change, and I really like how this gives us a great picture of change is not something that when we create a new habit, that there may be some that you will take forever into your life, like walking. I highly doubt one day you're going to say, you know, I think that was a bad idea learning walking. I should like stop doing that. But there are a lot of habits, if you think about throughout your life, that you've done for a while and then you've changed them or you've adapted them or you've let them go. And so change is really like a circle. And we start out with some idea or creation of a new habit or behavior that we want to embark upon. And so that's our C. And H is heart-centered, meaning that we have to like really want it from our whole heart. We have to be like all in. It can't be like, I'm going to try, or maybe I might, do this for a while and see what happens. Our why, our motivation needs to be just wholeheartedly felt and then embraced. And that's the H. A is the awareness of how we want to feel. So that's our measurement. As we do the change, are we feeling those things? Are we getting there? Or are we actually creating other feelings that we've got to like bring out and look at and see what's going on? N is for be in the now, be in the present moment, and enjoy the process of the new experience. Because in that being in the now, in the process, you're going to see what works. You're going to see what doesn't work. And you're going to notice that it is a learning process. It's like a stair step. You're going to improve immensely and then have a little plateau. And then improve again and have a plateau. But that's the way it's supposed to be. Very few people go from A to B in a short amount of time and be perfect at anything. It takes repetition. And this is the middle. And that can go on for quite a while. Like the middle of the circle, it's however long that you really want it to, because it's your change you're making. And once you master it, that's where that subconscious takes over and you don't even have to think about it anymore. And so for some things, it may be very quick that happens. And for others, it may take some longer time. G is to grow, go forward. Let that new experience, that new behavior and habit take you places and see what happens. And then finally is the E, the end of your enthusiasm. If that ever hits and you lose enthusiasm for what you had been doing and you had it, it was going really great, you've been doing it for quite a while, but now it just doesn't feel the same, it's most likely you need to take a moment and see if you're bored with it and ready just for something new in your life. And that's okay too. All right. So I had this epiphany a few years ago where I was thinking about change, and I had like learning a new habit or a new behavior. And the monkey bars came across as a really great analogy. So the monkey bars have a start point, they have a middle and an end point. Change requires forward focus and forward movement, just like the monkey bars. Once you start, if you start pausing and dangling, you're in trouble. And if you lose that momentum, eventually you exhaust yourself and you fall off of the monkey bars, but also of your habit. And it takes repetition to keep cementing the new habit and course correcting bumps in the road. Just like when you're learning to use the monkey bars, you're learning how much momentum you need, what's the ratio of swing and kick and rep and moving forward. And again, it's a learning curve. And then getting to the end reinforces your confidence, your joy, your strength, happiness in yourself. And it also requires a leap of faith, faith of no turning back. Because if you stop and you look behind you, you're going to lose all your momentum on the monkey bars. And that's a really dangerous place to be because you're probably going to fall. And so our focus needs to be right on the bar. Like, we love how he's looking right at the bar in front of him. And that's the only place he's looking. He's not looking behind him. He's not looking at the end. He's right in the moment. And the other really interesting thing about change is we do make mistakes. We do flub up. And just like the monkey bars, we do fall off. And it's like, how quickly do you recover and get back on and know that that was just a bump in the road? You didn't do anything bad. You didn't do anything wrong. You're learning. All right, so we're going to get to the formula of how do you make a change. So these are elements that are required. They all have to be present when you're planning your new behavior or your new habit. And it is from the Fogg behavior model, and he calls it MAP, M-A-P. M standing for motivation, A, ability, and P, prompt. And so I really like this little new habits, old habits, and then I put a question mark of choice, because a lot of people think that keeping an old habit or picking a new habit is a choice. But it's really actually, how are you going about the formula of the old habit and the new habit? And are you running those formulas at the same time? So we're going to look at that. Okay. One more time. All right, so the 3 requirements needed to design any new habit are motivation, ability, and prompt. Okay. And so motivation, it's your why. Why are you wanting to do this new thing? What is it you're trying to get out of it that's going to benefit you and means a lot to you? When I mean it means a lot, that's really important, because the more motivated you are, the easier it is going to be to get the other 2 to fall in line. And so thinking about and feeling emotions that you want to feel, that what this behavior or habit are going to get you, or while you're doing it. And this is the power, the outcome wisdom, and the power that's created from that motivation, that why, of learning that new habit and bringing it into reality. Ability. It's how easy or how hard is it for you to do the new behavior or habit? Do you even know how? Do you need to learn something first? Do you need to take a class or read something? Or have you thought about how easy it's going to be to actually do the habit with how you're designing it? So that's ability, skills, and like opportunity, say. And either it's creating an ease or it's creating a resistance. So if it's creating ease, you've simplified it. It's very simple, it's easy to do. If it's creating resistance, you've probably made it too complex. And there's a lot of things that are getting in the way and making it hard to do. And this will determine the outcome of whether or not you'll be able to do the habit the way that you're designing it, whether it's weekly, daily, monthly, however the habit's supposed to pop up. And then we have prompt. And prompt is what reminds you to do the habit. So there has to be something like an alarm, a visual cue, Some like people are like, I can't take my supplements regularly. What should I do? Well, a prompt would be to put them someplace all together where you see them around the time you want to take them. That would be a prompt. Waking up to go to the gym in the morning, well, an alarm would be a prompt. And then you'd have to have the other two in alignment to make it easy, and your motivation of why you want to go to the gym to actually go to the gym. And so you can say your prompt is your aha time. This is the time to do it. And our outcome then will be you'll do the new habit. Okay, so this is a graph of the equation. So motivation plus ability is equal to how hard or easy something is for you to do as far as a new behavior or habit. So if you look at this graph, we have our motivation is the up side of the chart, and our ability is going out to across. Our low motivation is at the bottom, and our high motivation is at the top. Something that we're trying to do that's more hard is here at the base of the graph, whereas we go out, it's making it more easy. And this red line is the curve in which the two meet. Okay, so somebody has a habit that they want to go to the gym. However, when they wake up in the morning, they've set their alarm and it's on their phone. And when they wake up, they grab their phone, they roll over, and they start scrolling on their social media. And it's so pleasurable, it's so easy to do because it feels good. And the phone was right there, and it just keeps feeding them videos. So they are highly likable to keep this habit. But they don't want to have this habit. They want to go to the gym. Well, it's really early and dark. Their bed is warm. They've set it up where they're working out alone. And they're just not feeling the motivation. And the way they've created it is hard because there are other things distracting them that are way more pleasurable. So they're not likely to work out, and they will always scroll for their phone. Okay, so then what is going on here? This is really important. They want to go to the gym, but they have a habit of scrolling on their phone. So they need to use the equation in the reverse. They need to undesign the old habit, meaning that they need to remove a prompt or the ability that makes it easy to do the old habit before they can move to the new habit. So in this person's case, her phone was her alarm. Well, as soon as she picks up her phone, she starts scrolling through her social media. So it makes sense to get a regular alarm and no longer use her phone and not even have it in her bedroom. Ability. We've taken out her ability to just roll over and scroll. She's going to have to get out of bed. This alone will change her motivation because she's not in that state of constant pleasure by seeking the scrolling. Okay. I want to go back for just a quick sec. So then she can work on her motivation for going to the gym and really decide what is it she's resisting about going. And maybe it's she likes being with other people, and being alone, working out in her house is not motivating. But if she goes to a class or a place where there's a group setting, she's more likely to find joy in that, and it'll be fun. When the alarm goes off, maybe she has a count in her head of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she springs out of bed and has a great, I'm going to have a great day attitude. These are all ways to increase motivation, make things more available, which will then change this easy to scroll on her phone to be easy to go to the gym. All right. People say all the time they think about doing a change, but then they have doubts. So I want to give you the gift of doubt. Doubt is the greatest tool of awareness one can use. It is the springboard to inquiry, meaning that when you doubt something, you just need to ask more questions. You need to ask until you understand what doesn't feel right. And the more questions that you ask, you're going to find the truth of what you are certain of. And once you find the truth, of certainty, you will no longer have doubt. You will feel confident in moving forward with what you are designing. And finding the truth is what helps us move in the right direction. The doubt isn't the end point. It's just a starting point. It's a starting point of inquiry and questioning. And resistance. There's a gift in resistance too. Resistance helps us become aware of when we made something too complicated, meaning that the ability to do it is too complex. It isn't easy for us to do. Therefore, we are not making it a priority. And it's an awareness that change sometimes isn't meant to be permanent. I know some people resist change because they think they have to do it forever, and that sounds really hard in itself, like maintaining something. It should be effortless and fun. It should be easy and simple. And you need to design it that way. And it is also, resistance helps us become aware of when things are working and things are not working. We need to stop thinking that feelings that are what we classify as negative are bad. Resistance isn't a bad feeling. Resistance is there to tell us something really important. All we have to do is look and ask questions. And it could be maybe we're becoming bored. It could be maybe the time of day we chose to do this thing is just really inconvenient for our life, and we're just never going to be successful. We just need to change the time. It could be how much time we gave to something. It could be the order we're doing something. It could be anything that is hindering you from just engaging in it and looking forward to it. So our pearls of knowledge that we've gained. Boredom is a gift to move us into new experiences and growth. Courage is needed to brave the boredom and the sadness of letting go of past habits, behaviors, things. Wholehearted commitment is what we are willing to do to keep moving forward. So meaning with our whole heart, we're all in. Motivation plus ability plus prompt equals our new habit being a success. Okay? And having full faith and trust in our dream, our desires, and surrendering all fears, trusting in yourself. And trust in yourself doesn't mean perfection. Trust means that you're doing your best. You're going to be in the moment. You're going to recognize when things aren't right and you need to make adjustments and tweaks. Remember, you're the scientist of change. You are mixing and having experiments until you dial in what works for you. Doubt is just a starting point to inquiry, which helps us see the truth of the matter at hand. And resistance is a gift of awareness when something's not right. And we're unable to move forward with ease and take action with simplicity. So I hope this was helpful in understanding that when you've been resisting change or not being able to hold on to a change you want to make, it isn't you. It's the formula. It's how you're going about it. And once you dial that in, you're going to effortlessly make changes and stick with them. And to remember that change equals freedom. Freedom from being stuck in unhappiness, anger, frustration, bitterness, disappointment, and fear. And it offers us a path of spiraling up into the light. And change allows you to create a better experience and feel new things, new feelings. And change is a process, and no one is perfect out of the gate. And if you never change, you could be spiraling down into the darkness of your thoughts and feelings. And when do you ever allow yourself to stop, pause, and see what we want to reach for towards the light. And so I put this little bird here, freeing from his cage, because the cage is like where we're stuck in life. It's where we are staying the same and thinking that something is either confining us, that is holding us back, or holding us static, or keeping us from a great life. And the truth is, nothing is doing that. The only thing keeping us in the cage is ourselves. We are the ones that choose where we move, how we do it, the habits we have and the behaviors. We get to pick them. If you have one that isn't serving you, then now's the time to look at it, see what is not serving you, and create a new one that does. And that's the simplicity of it.